We're here, it's Saturday night. We are at the men's event here at the Perrysburg campus, and we just got done being inside hearing from Pastor Brian Tome from Crossroads Cincinnati. He had some awesome things to say to the men here at the campus, and now we're all outside hanging out doing some pretty awesome stuff. We're eating some barbecue, smoking some cigars around the fire, and all around having a great time and connecting men to other men. So maybe you're sitting here, you didn't get a chance to be a part of men's event, at least not in person, and you're wondering how you can get connected. See, they can't help themselves. All wrestling fans are the same. Anyway, if you wanted to get connected, you can go to cedarcreek.tv/groups, or you can go right onto our app, and there's a button there for groups, and join a men's group today.
I am super pumped about being able to invest in the lives of men. In fact, my dream here at Cedar Creek, whether you're a male or a female, is that whenever a guest walks in, whatever stage of life that they're in, they get a snapshot of the rest of their life. Like a 15-year-old young man walks into our church, they see somebody living for Jesus in their 20s, somebody living for Jesus in their 30s, a guy that's engaged, living for Jesus, somebody that's newly married, living for Jesus, a 40-year-old with young kids, living for Jesus, somebody with teenagers, even like their parents, living for Jesus, somebody who's retired, somebody who has great-grandkids. I want them to have a vision for the rest of their life. That means whatever stage of life that you're in, you play an important role in helping people see what's next for them. And just by showing up, just by leaning in together in what God is doing here, it helps move the mission and vision of our church forward. You have no idea. You have no idea the influence that God is having through you, male, female, just by being here and leaning in, taking steps on that journey, talking about it, saying hello to people in a similar stage of life, in a different stage of life. So keep leaning in with us and be a part of the groups that we offer. As you lean into that, your influence is used to help other people grow. And it's powerful when you begin to experience yourself being used by God to make a difference in someone else's life. And somebody who has helped me with that from a distance is the pastor that you're going to hear from today. He pastors the largest church in Ohio, one of the largest churches in the country, around 30,000 people that attend the multiple campuses of Crossroads Church down in Cincinnati. And what they're doing online and in their church challenges and inspires our creative team. And just hearing his heart for Jesus, his passion for men, his deep biblical rootedness, and yet at the same time a little bit of non-religious rebelliousness that comes with that, you're in for a treat. So will you put your hands together at all of our locations and give Brian Tome a warm Cedar Creek welcome from me. Thanks.
Thank you, Ben. It's great to be here. I'm never sure, during COVID times where we should touching skin, elbows, hugs, that whole awkwardness. But I feel no awkwardness with you today. It's really an honor to be with you today. I want to talk about something that oftentimes isn't talked about, or if it's talked about, it's very gross and very icky. It is wanting more. I don't know if you want more for your life or not. I don't know if you think God doesn't want you to have more, or if He is okay you having more, but we're going to dig in that today, and it's an honor to be at Cedar Creek. So let me pray for you and our time together, all right? God, I thank you for this morning and for you being a God who elevates us, who lifts us, who takes us to new places. And I pray that you'd help me to take your people to a new place by helping us understand your word, your scriptures, and your way of life. I pray these things according to the character and identity of Jesus. Amen. You ever notice that there are a lot of tensions that are in the Bible? A lot. Some people would call them contradictions. I don't believe that they're contradictions. But there are things that it says this and it says this, so which is it? How do they relate to one another? In the Bible, these extremes are what communicate the truths of God. It's the tension. Here, let me give you an example. God is one. Hear, O Israel, the Lord thy God is one God. God is one, and yet He's a Trinity. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Well, which is it? Is He one, or is He a Trinity? Pittsburgh Steelers, God bless America. Did you grow up in Pittsburgh? No. I asked that. Toledo's got like 3 different cities you're for. It's not like very clear home. How many Steeler fans do we have in the house? How many Cleveland Browns fans? How many Detroit Lions fans? All right, just curious. How many Bengals fans in the house? I'm so sorry if you're a Bengals fan. Frustrating every year. It just is, all the time. Now I forgot what I was going to say. What was I just? Oh, yeah. One. So God is one, and God is 3. Here's another one. God is sovereign. He's in control. And yet the Bible tells us things so we can control our life, so we can do things that need to be done. We're not just victims. Is God in control? Is he sovereign? Or am I in control? Or what's known as the Bible is stewardship. Am I supposed to steward my life? Which is it? Well, yes. Yes. There's faith. Do I come to God by faith? Is it my faith that gets me to God? Or is it my works? The Bible teaches very clearly that Jesus is on a cross. He dies for me. All of my garbage, all my gunk is transferred onto his back. All of his goodness and holiness is transferred to my back, to my account. And by faith in what he's done for me, I can get to heaven. And yet James says, if I don't have works, my faith is dead. Jesus says, you tell a tree by its fruit, its works that define my day-to-day life as much as, is it faith or is it works? Yes. Here's another one. I'm supposed to be content in all circumstances, and yet I'm to want more. You're going, wait, what are you talking about? You're not really convincing me of that. Okay, that's what I'm going to spend the rest of our time about. David. Most of us have heard of David, King David. Most of us, even if you're an atheist in America who's never been to church, you've heard of David and Goliath. Let's make sure we understand what's happening there. We've got this guy who is taunting the nation of Israel, Goliath, huge guy from Philistia. He's taunting the nation of Israel. And David is the one who puts him down. Now, the backstory on David is Saul is the king of Israel. Saul, the first king of Israel. Saul disqualifies himself from being the king. One day before a battle, he does a sacrifice. He basically does the priest/prophet's job, Samuel. He gets out of his giftedness. Samuel comes on the scene and sees this, says, what have you done? You should have been doing that. And Samuel goes to walk away. Saul grabs his cloak and says, wait, don't go away. It tears, and Samuel says, see how this cloak is torn? Today, God has torn the kingdom from you. God has taken away your kingship. Now, it's not going to be gone from him while he still lives, but his run is done. Samuel goes, and in the midst of that whole time period, he's trying to find the successor. He goes to the house of Jesse, and he's looking for a big, burly, strong guy, so he keeps thinking it's the older one. It's not the older one. Goes to the next one. It's not him. The next one. And he gets all done, and he says to Jesse, who has all these sons, which one of it is this? Is it? I don't see all of your sons here. Do you have another son? Jesse says, well, I got one. There's some rabbinical schools of thought. These are not official Bible verses, but ancient Jews who have sort of read between the lines, who believe that Jesse's wife, Jesse believes that his wife might have had an adulterous affair, and he's dismissing David, like maybe this isn't even my kid. Whatever it is, he's not a big fan of David's. He's not willing to bring him forth. He's the little one out in the fields. So, well, there's one. He's out there. Sees this kid. He says, bam, you're the one. You're the one. David then ends up going shortly afterwards to the front lines to see the great showdown, to see Goliath, and he's stunned. And I'm not going to go into the whole story. I'm just going to give you one verse I bet you've never seen. I'm going to give you one verse that I bet if you ever heard any preacher talk about this, that they've never gone into this verse. But it's key to understanding today. David, before he goes to fight Goliath, it says this, David asked the men standing near him, what will be done for the man who kills this Philistine and removes the disgrace from Israel? What will be done for him? David is motivated for more. Before he goes in, he wants to know, what do I get out of it? Now, I know this sounds really, really unchristian. Shouldn't we just want the thing to happen because it honors God and it's good? Yes, we should do the right thing because it honors God and good. And Why do you think there's so many verses in the Bible that talk about rewards in heaven? Why is that? You know, there are different rewards in heaven. Billy Graham and Mother Teresa, what they're getting in heaven is not the same as what the person who received Christ on death row gets. Not the same. Not the same as what I will get. They've been made much more faithful than me. The Bible talks about unique rewards in heaven again and again and again and again. We're not all going to be in the same house. Some of us are going to be in a row house apartment, and some of us are going to be in a mansion. That's pretty clear, right? So wait, what is it? Like I'm supposed to, and all these things, by the way, all these things in the Bible, all these verses are there to incentivize you and I to do the right thing. That's why they're there. They're not just painting the reality, they're there to incentivize. So wait a minute, am I to do things just because it's the right thing to do, or am I also to want more? Should that incentivize me? What's the answer? Yes, come on, you should know this by now, folks. I've given you 4 examples. What's the answer? Yes. Yes, that's the answer. There's a truth inside of it in the tension. Now, all of this is background to give you a story that half of it, if you've been in church for quite some time, you've definitely heard someone talk about it. Half of it, I'm very confident you've never heard anyone talk about it. Let's go there if we could. We're going to go to the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 6, verse 6. I'm going to read it and I'll tell it to you, and I'm going to put some of the key verses up here. So don't be all bummed out going, Margaret, he's not putting all the Bible verses on the screen. Don't worry about it, Grandpa. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Just kind of go with me on this. I'm going to read for us. Here's what it says. It says, I'm looking at the wrong part. I'm sorry. Here we go. Well, actually, I'm sorry. I'm reading this. I'm going too fast. So, before I read this, Saul, the king of Israel, dies. Part falls on his own sword, part suicide, part at the very last while he's gasping, an Amalekite kills him. It's a little uncertain exactly how those events come down. David becomes king, and it's kind of interesting. It's kind of cool. David decides to enjoy some of the perks of being a king. I want you to imagine for yourself, what is it that if you became CEO of your company, or if you're in politics, if you became president of the United States, or whatever thing you're a part of, what is it you would do the first day to enjoy the perks of that thing? Have you ever considered that? Like, for instance, if I ever became president of the United States, which I never will be because I'm never going to run for office, but if I was ever going to be the president of the United States, the first day on the job, I'm going to instruct the pilot to do barrel rolls in Air Force One. I'm be like, let's just try. Let's just see what this thing can do. That's what I'm going to do the very first day. If I ever became CEO of BMW Motorcycle, I would pull all the German engineers together and I'd say, okay, we're going to build me a bike to spec. Me. I'm not concerned if it's marketable, if other people can buy it, but we're going to build me a killer bike. I would do those perks. David, when he becomes king, he says, all right, I'm going to enjoy the perks. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get that ark out of storage. That thing that went before the ancient armies of Israel and ensured battle, that thing that's being mothballed right now, that thing that a future generation of mine, this guy by the name of Steven Spielberg, is going to have a movie about it, and the Spirit of God's going to come out and melt all the Nazis' faces off. David said, that thing, let's get that thing over here. Let's do that. He wants to enjoy the perks of it. So he gets 30,000 dudes, 30,000 warriors, and they haul this thing out of storage, and they stick it on a cart, and they have oxen pull it, and as it's going, as it's being pulled down, let's read what happens. And David and all the house of Israel were celebrating before the Lord with songs and lyres and harps and tambourines and castanets. And when they came to the threshing floor of Nacon, Uzzah put out his hand to the ark of God and took hold of it, for the oxen stumbled. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Uzzah, and God struck him down dead. Well, it just struck him down because there he had erred. This is a really troubling thing. What's the big deal? You've got this guy's walking beside the ark of the Lord and it's going to crash and hit the ground, but Uzzah stops it and brings it back up, and then God strikes him down. And it says that David initially, he is angry Because he goes, God, why, God, why do you seem to be so capricious with this? Why are you seem? There's another tension. God is a father and God is a king. God is known as Abba. Jesus says, our Father who art in heaven. It's the word daddy. God is an intimate father who's very tender and very generous, and he's a king. He still smites. He has a kingdom he's operating under, and he has an agenda, and he is a warrior. Well, is he warm father or king? Yes. It's that whole bandwidth that we see here. And David says, why are you like this? Why would you kill this person? And then it says in the very next verse, but then David was afraid. Wait, why the anger and why the fear? Here's why I think it is. I think it's because David recognizes and he remembers, oh no, oh crap, oh my gosh, my first day of the job. And I did exactly what Saul did that got him disqualified. Because Saul was doing things that the priest/prophet should have done, and I have broken the rules of how God wanted this transported. See, we look at this and we go, oh no, why would God kill Uzzah? Well, we have to remember here that they had broken all the rules that God had talked about. It's supposed to be brought out by priests, not by the king. It's supposed to be transported on acacia poles. It wasn't transported. There was a certain way to worship. There was a certain way to, didn't do this, put it on a cart, had an oxen pulling it, had armies around, all thing after thing after thing. And then finally, when Uzzah stops it, God basically does his Popeye imitation, and he says, I can stand it no more. Remember those of us who like Popeye and the old Popeye fans there? I can stand it no more. And he has him killed. He wipes them out. And David, I believe at this moment, he realizes, oh no, this is how Saul lost it when he did the sacrifice that he wasn't authorized to give. And now I'm doing this ark in an unauthorized way. Have I completely lost it? Have I completely ignored my mandates? And now have I actually disqualified myself? Then what he does is he says, okay, where's the closest household around here? Where's the closest household? And someone says, well, there's this guy, Ebed-Odom, the Gittite. David says, well, it sucks to have his name, but maybe we'll just kind of take that ark. That's supposed to be funny, friends. That's supposed to be funny. See, when I say something funny, you're supposed to laugh to make me feel very good because I'm very insecure up here. I don't know you. 2/3 of your face is covered up with a mask, so I'm doing my best. I'm working my noogies off for you guys. And there, good. Okay, thank you. So, Obed-Edom, let's leave that ark there. And he basically acts like a Vegas blackjack dealer who checks out after his shift. He goes, okay, Obed-Edom, we're going to put that ark there. I'm out. I'm stepping away before God strikes me down. I'm stepping away before he does something that I don't want him to do to my life. Now, here's the next verse that happens after the ark is in Obed-Edom's house. It says this. Then the ark of the Lord remained in the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite, the guy who had the awful name, for 3 months. And the Lord blessed him and his entire household. So David drops off this thing, and a blessing comes to Obed-Edom the Gittite. Sometimes the Bible is intentionally and wonderfully nebulous. In the New Testament, the Apostle Paul says that there was a thorn of the flesh that he can't get over, and it's there to make him humble, a thorn in the flesh. Some people think it's his eyesight. That's what he's referring to, his bad eyesight, and he can't write his own letters that other people were scribing for him. That's what some people think. We don't know that. But it's really to our advantage that he doesn't say that I have bad eyesight, if that in fact was the case. Instead he says, I have a thorn in the flesh, something I can't get rid of. It's really advantageous to us because all of us have a thorn in the flesh. All of us have at least one thing you can't get over. All of us have something that we wish through prayer God would take it away, and for whatever reason, it's not going away. One of mine is my back. It's doing pretty good right now, but out of nowhere, it will go out and I'll be down. Like, I don't know why. Doing really well right now, but it could strike at any moment. I've got thorn in the flesh around my father letting me down. Not just my father letting me down, but I've had two that have let me down. The father who adopted me and the father who impregnated my birth mother with me. Both of them. And it causes me to feel rejected. It causes me to constantly want people's approval because I live with this thing of people don't like me and they've rejected me. All of us have a thorn. Yours might be your mother-in-law. See, that was supposed to be funny. Maybe I'm just not funny. Yours might be your mother-in-law. Yes, everyone's applauding for that, right? Yours could be the credit card debt that just won't go away. It could be the memory of the abuse that you've been to counseling, you just can't get back to par. It could be that you haven't found the spouse that you thought God wants you to have. You're married, but you don't have the kids because you have infertility issues. Your children have wandered away from God, and you're praying, but they're just not going away from God. You're at a stalling point with your career. Whatever it is, it's something you can't fix. It's something that's and therefore, when you read thorn in the flesh, you go, I get that. I got that. How many of us know what our thorn in the flesh is? How many of us know them? Okay? How many of us refuse to raise our hands in church ever? Go ahead, raise your hands. You're still not raising your hand in church, right? When it says here that God blessed the house of Obed-Edom, it's wonderfully and intentionally vague. What is that blessing? Think about that. It's such a significant blessing that it's going to get back to David. What would that be? Let's just fantasize for a little bit. Maybe God causes perfect weather patterns to be over Obed-Edom the Gittite's property, and his crops take off where other people's didn't. Maybe one day he's out walking his backyard and he trips. He looks down. There's a little gold nugget there. He starts to open up, and he's on a gold quarry. Makes massive jack. Maybe it's the neighbors here. His house, all the time there's fighting and there's bickering and there's screaming, but for 3 months, there's laughter, there's celebration, all that stuff. Maybe his wife is really ugly with a massive wart on the end of her nose, just like a softball-sized wart, and it magically one day just drops off. Maybe he has a daughter who is stricken with cancer and she's been bedridden for 6 months or has had a stroke, and all of a sudden she's up and walking. Maybe he's got a son who's run away and has been grieving the family, and all of a sudden the son comes back during that 3-month period. Maybe he's been lonely and he hasn't had any friends, and all of a sudden God raises up men for him to be friends with. Maybe out of nowhere, someone picks up an instrument and they're virtuoso. I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. That's the beauty of this. Whatever it is, God blesses this family in such a way that David finds out about it, and he wants to come back and he wants to have it. He wants it. When David is great, he's known as a man after God's own heart, even though he's responsible for an adultery, a bad census, murder in the first degree. He's got kids that are totally wayward. The last part of his life is a train wreck. There's a bunch of stuff that's going on, but yet he's known as a man after God's own heart. That's not just because he repents when he's done something wrong. It's also because he thirsts for more. It's also because he's a man who wants and he advances. He has an aggressive attitude. He says, what will be done for the man who takes down this giant? And they say, well, you're going to get the king's daughter, and you're going to get a lot of riches. You're going to get some land. Oh, good. I'm in. He's pushing. He's constantly pushing. When he becomes a warrior after this, he is pushing, and there's a song that comes out that Saul has killed his thousands and David has killed his tens of thousands, because he's pushing, and he's really, really good at pushing and going after more. In fact, when he decides to not do more, he has problems. His first big mistake is he has an adulterous affair with a woman by the name of Bathsheba, and it says right at the beginning of the verse, it says, in the time of year when kings go out to war, David stayed at home. Kings were supposed to go out in the springtime when the ground had thawed out and beat back all the marauders who have encroached on their land. Kings are supposed to do that, especially a king who's a killer like David is. Now, by the way, God's not calling you to be a killer. No one should die as a result of what we're talking about here, but this was a unique thing that David was good at. He said, man, I got Goliath because I took down bears and wolves, tigers and wolves and bears, oh my. I took on all those things, and I'm going to take down Goliath, and he's done his tens of thousands. Guy is really, really good. And then he says, I'm just going to stay back. And that's when he falls into an adulterous affair. His worst moments is when he's going passive. And I'll tell you, as Christians, we tend to be very passive. Well, I'm just going to sit here and wait on the Lord. Great. You wait on the Lord when there's nothing else you can do. You don't wait on the Lord to heal your wife of cancer when there's a hospital down the road. You take her to the hospital. You don't wait on the Lord to get you out of credit card debt. You take a second job. You eliminate 3 of your 4 streaming services. You don't wait on the Lord for God to bring people to your business. You increase your marketing budget to let people know about your business. You don't wait on the Lord for God to bring you a spouse. You go places where you might meet somebody, or you do online dating. You try something. You do wait in the Lord when the doctors can't do anything. You do wait in the Lord when you've worked and you put in. There is, yes, you do. Wait, do I wait on the Lord? Or do I push forward? Yes. It's both those. Yes. We have to embrace the life of both of those. Now, when David hears about Obed-Edom the Gittite, David goes, wait, what? Wait, he's been blessed. It trickles back to him. He's forgotten about this, but it trickles back to him like, hey, David, you know that Obed-Edom the Gittite guy? Man, listen to what's happened to his life. Whatever it is, we don't know. But whatever it is, David goes, okay, I want it back. Because David wants more. There is a holiness, a godliness to wanting more. You might say, no, hold on, wait a minute. Doesn't the Bible say I should be content in all things? Yes. But yet we have David going back for more, but yet there's description of more rewards in heaven. Yet there is, wait, am I supposed to be content or more? Yes. And this is the problem. We get really weird when we get too extreme and we don't see the tension. So I would be prone not to see this, because over here there's more. I don't like health and wealth gospel. I don't like prosperity gospel. I don't like people who wear expensive leisure suits on cable television and talk about, you're going to be blessed. I don't like any of that stuff, right? It's just gross. It's icky. There are people who are in third world countries who love God more than you and I and honor them more than you and I, but they're in a situation where they are just not going to be rich. They're just not. And that has nothing to do with their faithfulness or with God. It has everything to do with the circumstances they were born into. And there's people here who are going to be very rich and successful. It has nothing to do with God's blessing their life at all. It has to do with you or I being able to be driven in the context of a culture that could actually reward that. It's not a thing of God. It's a thing of marketplace activity. So saying and expecting, just because I have faith, I should have a plane is ridiculous. And saying, just because I have enough to eat, I should be content with that too is ridiculous. You should want more. I'm just going to tell you right now. I want more. I'll just go on record, say, I want, just like David went back and he went and got the Ark of the Covenant when he heard about all the blessings that he wanted for his life, I want more. I want to baptize more people. I want more grandkids. I want more money in my bank account. I want more people to buy books that I write. I want more people to follow me on Instagram. I want more grandkids. I say that. I want more sex with my wife. I want more spiritual gifts. You know, all those weird spiritual gifts in the Bible. Like, have you read it recently? There's gifts in there like speaking in tongues, interpretation of tongues, prophecy. I want them all. I want them all. All of them. I want them all. I want to be, and I don't do those things. I want it though. I pray for it. I want them all. I want more men to be helped as we have a crisis of masculinity in our culture. I want more men to be helped by things I'm doing and all that. I want that. I've done events in the last couple months in Indiana and Tennessee and Colorado because I want men to be helped. But for them to be helped, I have to move. I have to push. I can't just wait on God. That's why I came out all the way up from 3 hours from Cincinnati to here, was to be here with you and to speak last night. I had other things to do on a Saturday night. Believe me, a lot of other things to do. But I want to see God use me more in the lives of men, in the lives of women who are here today. And to do that, I have to push. And you have to push, friends. I'm telling you, if you want more, and I hope you do, and this is a problem, maybe the problem with American Christianity, why we're losing so much ground, is we don't believe that you should want more. We believe that's somehow sinful. We believe that's somehow selfish. I think it's odd that in a country that has been the richest country in the history of the world, and has been the most Christianized country, arguably in the history of the world, the leading Christian country in the history of the world. The last several decades, we've lost all of that ground. We've become Europe in the last several years. But I think it's fascinating with our Christian heritage, how like none of the wealthiest people that I know in America are believers. Why are we not creating the next Jeff Bezos? Why do we not create Steve Jobs? Why is that? It's in large part because we sit in rooms like this and some guy from up front says, just be happy with you are. Those people who have stuff, the Bible says, you know, going through the eye of a needle. That's what it's like to have. Yes. When you have resources, there are unique temptations. Yes, and yes. Yes, there is. Yes. And there are very wealthy people who are in the Bible. And there are people who have a lot of kids in the Bible. And there are people who have a lot of opportunities in the Bible. Just because there's a blessing, whatever the form of blessing is, we can't demonize it. Friends, I'm just going to tell you, you should want more. Do you want more? Do you want God to use you more? Do you want more of your prayers answered? Do you want more people that you put your hands on to pray for there to be healing? Do you want more? Do you believe in that? Do you want that? Do you want more opportunities for adventure? This next week, I'm going out to Colorado to hunt elk. And I've been told forever, I was like, oh, you'll never get an elk tag. No, you can't. 8 years, you can't hunt. Oh, you'll never. People telling me, oh, yeah. And I found out that because of the fires out there, people are freaked out over forest fires. Surprisingly so. Someone would be afraid of a forest fire. But people aren't using their tags. I said, you're kidding me. So I made a call, and I got an elk tag, like with one phone call. Like private, not somebody leading me some hyper-expensive thing, just private. And I'm making it happen. Why is that? Because I want more. I don't want to sit back and think about hunting an elk. If I can do it, I'm going to do it. Friends, you need to grab your life by the throat. You need to take advantage of the life God's given. It's called the stewardship of your life. You should want God to do more things in and through you than you would do in and of your own mindset and of your own activity. But you have to do it. Meaning, you have to turn around and you have to go to a place you need to go to get more. Now, David goes back, gets this ark, and it's really interesting. What it says here is that now David went and brought up the ark of God from the house of Obed-Edom to the city of David with rejoicing. And when those who bore the ark of God had gone 6 steps, he sacrificed an ox and a fattened animal. So David goes, okay, we're going to do this right this time. Let's go back and research how to transport it. Let's bring the priests out, the acacia pole, to bring all this stuff out here. So, okay, let's go, folks. Let's do this right. So the priests are going around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They said, stop, 6 feet, stop. We're going to have a worship service here right now. Bring out the band. Let's do some slaughtering of animals. Let's give our God an offering. And they do that. And okay, folks, let's keep going. Stop right here. We're going to do it again. Every 6 paces, David has, and he funds a private worship service, brings in cattle, has people playing amazing music. And the Bible doesn't say to do this, but he's going, I'm not just going to fulfill what the Bible says. I'm going to go to the next level. I'm going to make, because I want more so much. I'm going to exceed what needs to be done. People who don't want more, they always want to do the absolute minimum required. Always want that. They don't really want to know how to please God. They just want to know, how do I not cause God to smite me? You know, David here is going, no, I want to please God. I want to give him a pleasing aroma, and I'm gonna aggressively make sure that I do this right. And then, once he gets the city of David, here's what 2 Samuel 6, verse 19 says he does with all the population base. It says, I said I want more. I don't know, maybe I just got some cool superpower, you know? Then he gave a loaf of bread, a cake of dates, and a cake of raisins to each person in the whole crowd of the Israelites, both men and women, and all the people went to their homes. He blesses everybody within the nation of Israel who's there. And he blesses them with a delicacy, with cakes, dates, and raisins. This is the kind of person that God blesses. This is the kind of person that God allows more to come to them when we work, and he brings more. David is just going, I want more for me to make me better. He's a conduit of blessing to others. He says everybody is going to share inside of this. Everybody is going to be blessed because of this. And this is what God wants for your life, friends. I'm just telling you right now. There's more that he wants to do in you. There is more he wants to bring to you. But he is looking for a man or a woman who has a motivation to be used to a greater degree, to have more things, to bless more people, to impact more people. You know, a video last week, let me get on the train, that video of what's going to happen in the church next week for helping little kids in Latin America. Man, that's going to be a critical thing for you. And I want in on that. I want to have a hand. I want more children to be blessed through your church and through what Crossroads does with our partners. I want more. It's not just I want more people at Crossroads. I want Crossroads and I want CedarCreek to be a conduit to blessing for other people to be impacted. The problem with us is our goals are too small. Our vision is too small. Our thirst and longing. Do you want more? Jesus wanted you and I to have more. He actually said one time, greater things will you do. You know what he meant by that? You would do greater things than him. That's what he meant by that. That's what he meant. Sometimes you just let the Bible speak for itself. He meant that. And that's what's happened because Jesus has never fed people to the degree that his followers have. Jesus never invented personally hospitals or orphanages, and all those things came on the downline of Christians who started all those things because they wanted more, and they wanted to bless more people. The day you embrace the aggressive move to take more, whatever it is, and the day you see that God is incentivizing you for blessing, will also be the day when he uses you to bless others, and your life will go to a new place. I hope that happens as a result of this story. Let me pray for us. God, I ask that your truth would reign in our hearts, that we wouldn't just be looking at our time here today as something that kept my attention or didn't keep my attention, but we would be looking at something that is going to actually change our future. Lord, I want more for every person who is here today. Would you bring more family members, more friends, more job opportunities, more creative insights, more songs that could be written coming out of this, more healing, more humility, more transcendent experiences that we can't explain away. God, I'm sorry for settling for what I have for too long. I haven't been thirsty enough. I haven't been hungry enough. I am now, and so are we. Pray these things according to the name of Jesus. Amen.